And here I go again.
Oh, did you just cover Dale? You did.
Yes, I covered Coverdale.
Rest in peace, Tony Katane.
I'm just another heart in need of rescue. The Robert Plant that never was.
He is still a wonderful performer. I am a big fan of the Coverdale.
He is not still a wonderful performer, but he's still very good.
I don't.
Have you seen recent stuff? Like
No.
that last tour? Not great.
Again, I don't need to see that stuff to still, enjoy the joy I got from watching some girl writhe on the hood of Whitesnake's car. That is a Bawling for Soup reference as well.
Oh, very
You're
nice.
welcome. 1985. Yeah, I got to get out of Pro Tools land because we're recording this in Logic, and I spent the day yesterday in Pro Tools land, and I almost hit the shortcut to record in Pro Tools, and all that would have done is caused the nuclear winter.
What is it? Control R?
I've used the numeric keyboard. I just have it set for 3, the number 3 on the numeric keypad. Not the 3 up above your keyboard, but the numeric keypad sidebar thingy.
How do you do multiple takes on one track? Do you have a hot take button on that? Or do you have a hot button for new track, new take, or do you have a hot how do you do that in Pro Tools? Because in Logic, you have takes.
Yeah,
that you can do on the same track.
You can do playlists on Pro Tools as well. But or
do you go fresh?
I had a co-engineer and a brilliant producer named Mike Sandoval with me at the big board yesterday, and he calls it playing with fire. Which is I have excessive notes I take while I'm recording, but the playing with fire is I punch in. So I have take 1 that I start earlier, take 2 starts a little later, take 3 starts a little after that. So I can see the little breaks in the region, and
right.
I then once I've got what I think is a reasonable and very, very good take on things, I will then go to a new playlist and I will do a comp of the whole thing, and I'll do 3 or 4 different versions of each line like that. Right. Depending on the singer. If the singer is like I like to give everybody at least a run through, and not if something's going well or even if something went badly, I like to give it a little bit more time to see if it's going to get better rather than just. I know some producers are like, I'm going to stop it and we're going to redo that part. I usually let it go for a little bit to see if they recover,
Yeah, because you might
get some gold out of that. I don't know. So other times I'm a disorganized ADHD mess.
So are you making notes take 3 on...
I use a lot of
4
markers.
That's the take?
A lot of markers.
Yeah.
A lot of markers.
But you make a note contemporaneously?
Yep.
You're that was the good one, and so when you comp, you already know.
Yeah, and at a certain point, you go. You have people with you who are also taking notes. So and then we've got them all in a Google Doc at the end of the night. So it's all in one place. Nice. And it's just I know it sounds like, but for me, that keeps the pace of things moving rather than. There are shortcuts to do a next play. I know this is really inside baseball and all that kind of stuff, but
yeah, fuck them. No one's listening.
Fuck them. No, it's for me. It's it just keeps the process moving because when you have somebody in the room and you're trying to keep the energy up, and we were in the studio for 10 hours yesterday. We took 30 minutes for lunch, ordered Greek food, feta fries. Fuck yeah.
Very nice.
And it was. Just to keep the energy up, keep the energy moving. Mikey, the assistant engineer and producer, he said, I looked down at my watch thinking it was noon, and it was 5 p.m.
That'll happen when there's no windows.
And we can step outside at any moment in time, and there are definitely no windows. But we were just so in it and just going, and it was just there was really great energy in the space, and it's one of my favorite places in the world. And when you got good mojo and good gear and good people in a room, cool shit happens, man.
Well, speaking of which, everyone, welcome back to 2ShotsMusicPod. Hey, please subscribe on YouTube and give us 5 stars.
Nobody's listening.
And dirty comment on Apple Podcasts. You can follow us everywhere at 2ShotsMusicPod. That's the number 2ShotsMusicPod. My name is Michael St. James, that hunk over there of Burning Love, who was stuck in a studio yesterday by gunpoint for 10 hours. His name is Stu Miller, right there.
At gunpoint. It was not at gunpoint. It was a joyful experience. I really love that. But I was saying this morning, like, I'm such a smorgasbord type person, where I like a variety of items. I don't
understand what that means at all.
I like a variety of items. So, like, it's been a while since I have done a big record in a big studio, and I love doing it. But if I was doing it all the time, I would be miserable.
Yeah. That's why so many of us are alcoholic and drug addicts.
It's just I love the process of, like, I like the get in and get it done and let's knock it out, and then we've got. But if I was sitting in there fucking 10, 12, 15 hours a day mixing, producing, like, all day, that was my office, I would be unhappy.
Now imagine if you were doing that with a signed band and a fairly unlimited budget.
Yeah.
And they were young.
Yeah.
And they kind of don't care because they're cool.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you're going to have to do it tomorrow and the next day.
Yeah.
And the next day.
Yeah.
And we should probably come in on Saturday.
Yeah. I'm not doing that. I do not want to do that. I think it's like, that says something, though. Like, that's just, I am all about the energy in the moment. And if it feels like today, we're going to be dealing with, like, a law of diminishing returns. I don't give a fuck what the budget is. I don't give a fuck what the label is. We're leaving the room. We're going to the theme park.
Gino Pertelli. I think you may know him, but he was a second engineer, he was an engineer. He was a producer, but he was a second engineer on a project. And he was telling me, and I think it was at FTM, maybe it's Fastway, but it was at a studio, and he was like, "That's why I have a holster under the mixing desk."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "There's a holster under the mixing desk." And I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!"
Wow. All right.
He's like, "In case so one day it's just not going to work out."
Yeah.
I was like, "God damn, Gino."
That's intense. No, it's like, I understand.
That's a Christian studio too.
Yeah. I mean, that tracks though.
Yeah, pretty much.
If I have to hear one more G-sus chord, I'll see myself out.
I heard an outtake once. God, this is so out of school, but, like, nobody's going to know this. But
nobody's listening.
There was like a Christian artist, and I won't mention him because you might know him still, but I don't really remember, so that's probably why. But they were singing, like, "I love you, Lord, and I lift you up." Okay, so it's a very famous sort of chorale piece, and it's like, "I love you, Lord, and I lift you up."
Yeah.
Right? It's that. To worship, and then it goes into a row.
Yeah.
To worship you, Lord, and the guy, he was telling me, he was like, they worked on it for 6 hours.
Wow.
And the outtakes and he's like, "That's what I want you to hear." The outtakes was a producer yelling at this, like, group of 6 people singing in, like, the B room. "Just fucking do it this way. That's not a fucking third. I think I know what the fuck a seventh is. God damn it. Fuck you." And it was just blah, 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 blah. "Let's take it from the goddamn top again. Fine.
Wow.
And then it would go, "I love you, Lord." I was like, I wish you could release this, because, like, I would buy the shit out of this. And just, like, every outtake was like, "Oh, God damn it." And just, you could hear him off mic, "This is such bullshit, Sarah." It was just like, "Get your shit together." And if one of you would sing the right part, it was hilarious.
That's fantastic. There is something about being in the studio. Like, I've seen people that, like, they've been playing they've been road dogs for, 10 years. And they go into the studio. They wrote a song like 2 years ago, and they're going to the studio. They've been playing on the road 100 dates a year, and they go into the studio. And the second you hit that red button, that's when the stupid starts.
Yeah.
I forgot how to hit a kick drum, and sometimes that's hard as a producer, because then they're so entrenched in the part that saying, okay, you and the bass player aren't really lining up here, and on this part, I think you should.
Yeah, and they've got to be like, but are you kidding me? We played these 100 nights. We fucking know what we're doing. It's like, did you listen back?
Yeah.
It wasn't tight then either.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's I also love, like, I've got one of my favorite things about recording drums is I don't give a fuck how good a drummer you are. You're noisy, right? You're making noises. You're grunting. You're howling. You're God damn it. You know, like I have takes of one of the drummers I use for on a lot of things. At the end of things, he'll just woo. You know, like that'll be in the middle of a take, and I encourage it because I want that energy on stuff.
Yeah.
Like
clip.
Yeah, I'm like putting that on something.
Good, my singer can't do that.
Yeah,
clip.
yeah, exactly. Man, Tom Waits ain't doing that.
Yeah, I was involved in a pretty cool recording once where the drummer's kick pedal was squeaky, so it wasn't greased enough, you know. And so there was this
yeah,
and nobody could tell where it was. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Where is that coming from?
I like that.
Because it's so far away from any of the mics, right? Like the overheads weren't catching. Like and the kick drum is on the other side. The mic on the drum is on the other side.
Yeah.
But it was like the hi-hat was picking it up, and it was just like way in the background. And like, is it the hi-hat? Is it your sticks?
Yeah.
What, you know? And then when they finally isolated, they're like, let's just clip that.
Yeah.
And we'll just use that somewhere because because it was in time.
Yeah.
It was off time, but it was in time.
I see what you mean. Like it's like the crosswalk sound for what's the Billie Eilish sound, where it's like that's a hi-hat, but it's not a hi-hat kind of thing. You know, it's usually
right. It was her Invisalign.
Or she's getting her teeth drilled or something. Yeah. Like I love shit like that. I really do. What is that sound?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the sound of me falling. That's the sound of Sting sitting on the piano. That's the sound of, you know, like David Gilmour clearing his throat, you know?
Totally.
Like I love shit like that, and
that's what you don't get with bedroom producing.
To a certain extent, yeah, you don't. But
well, no, Billie Eilish did, I guess.
You can though. That's the thing is creativity.
Good producer Phineas.
Yeah. Oh man, I listened to some of his solo stuff the other day, and I still. He's brilliant. I really love his songwriting. I love his producing. I love the way he's doing things, and I'm very excited that type of person exists now. I actually just subscribed to so I could watch his mixing class and his production class. I think it's mixed with the masters or something like that. I decided I was like, I'm going to re-up for a year because I want to watch this. That's worth it.
Yeah,
to me.
and I like his point of view about that. About like just sort of the only thing you have is your taste.
Yeah.
Don't learn what everyone else does.
Yeah.
I mean, learn the rules, but however you get to how you want it to sound.
Yeah.
The only thing that differentiates you from another producer, from another artist, is your taste and how it sounds.
Yeah.
And you can't teach that.
Yeah.
Like what your ears hear, figure out how to get to that.
Yeah.
You know, learn from the masters on like, how do I make that saturation happen?
Yeah.
Or how do I make that reverb tail happen? But like once you get those down, don't listen to the fucking masters about all that crap.
Yeah.
Just get to what you think sounds great.
Yeah. Once you figure out how to do that thing, get to making your shit, you know? Like how and I think that was even in like college going for a music degree.
Way back when.
There's a way for you to humble brag. I always found that like the thing that I really got into was not everybody was like, you know, they're learning, there's a German 6/4 chord. I didn't care about any of that. What I was like, I like the way that sounds. What is that sound? And how can I steal it and use it in this weird little rock song I'm writing over here? And so and that's what that was useful to me. The same thing with producing. Once I learned how to, you know, do certain things, it's beyond that. You're right. People don't hire you because of your engineering skills. They hire you because they like your aesthetic and your vibe and the things you create because of your viewpoint and your thoughts and your opinions.
Yep. Love it or leave it. All right, everybody, let's get into a little music biz bits and get on the road here. Here we go. Hey, there's one thing that this administration's doing all right on. Are radio stations pressuring artists to play free concerts in exchange for airtime, Stu? At least one federal lawmaker believes so. Brendan Carr, who is the chairman of the FCC, he has been the chairman of the FCC before, a Republican, is now investigating this type of payola with iHeartMedia.
Uh-oh.
And under FCC payola scrutiny over whether performers at iHeart Country Festival are receiving fair compensation because they're sort of having to play the festival and then getting the radio airplay. Like the ones who are playing the festival are getting the radio airplay.
Yeah.
The ones who aren't are, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the big headline here is let me see if I can sum it up in a music business like real big term here. Fucking duh. This is like always happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. This has always happened. Even in my days when I was chasing radio, of course you're going to get more radio airplay if you are playing something that the radio station is a part of or promoting or an advertiser of, because they're going to promote the show.
Yeah.
And therefore they're going to say, this is one of the artists on the show. Duh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to call that payola, but they're saying it's payola, and I don't know. Payola to me is so funny because some of it is scratch my back, scratch your back.
Yeah.
And part of that is just the way the fucking world works. Like, no, you don't get a fair shot if you're just dropping in here on your first EP.
Yeah.
And you want to get the exact same shit as like an artist with 4 albums under their belt who've done in-studio appearances with you, done the acoustic thing with you, done radio station hits. No, you're not going to get the same thing.
It's interesting to me that people often forget that music also has the word business after it. It is a business. If you are wanting to be paid for a service, you are in business. And part of being in business is developing relationships with people in your business. This includes radio, and it includes booking agent. It includes all this. And I know for a fact, and you know this for a fact, we've worked with some booking agents who are in bands. And if the national act comes through their venue or their festival or whatever, their band is opening that show.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We know radio DJs who have a band, and their band is opening the show, right?
Absolutely.
And I got to say, I would be doing the same thing in their position,
If it works,
yeah. I mean, I would also,
absolutely.
But why it's the same thing. It's a relationship business.
Yeah.
If you don't have a relationship, I understand the point they're making, which is, you should be compensated for your work, but.
Yeah. I think there's also a lot of young bands that do not understand this point. And there's a lot of show bookers, and here I'm talking about network TV and when you're doing interviews on a morning show or even a national show or whatever, that the bookers will make a decision. I've heard this actually said, and I don't think young bands understand this. When you're booking a band to promote them, it's not just because they're on tour, not just because they have a new song, right? It's that they're going to be around the next time.
Yeah.
So you're building the first show that they're going to do with you, knowing they're going to do multiple ones, and eventually the co-host, the anchor, the radio DJ, whatever gets to say, I remember when you guys were swinging through here a few years ago on that album. How's it different now? That is built into the whole thing, is longevity. They're not just looking at whether you're hot right now. It's whether or not you have your shit together and you have the backing and they know that this isn't going to be the last time you're swinging by.
Yeah.
Because why would they waste their time promoting a band or a product or a song that it's going to be the last time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
when Sarah Bareilles was going through, they're she's going to be in it for a while. Let's get her on. Lawrence is doing this.
Yeah.
They can see that Lawrence is not going away.
Yep.
They're not just a flash in the pan thing. And so book him on the Today Show, book him on this radio show, because it'd be the first time we got him of many.
Yeah. You're building a story. You're building a narrative here.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Lawrence going on tour with Lake Street Dive? Thank you. That's all I had. I'm so excited about that tour.
I know that's gonna be a great
fucking pairing.
I don't know. Like, I mean, when I saw Lawrence, it was just an evening with Lawrence,
Yeah.
and we were just talking about this the other night. I was like, I wish every like live show had that same demo.
Yeah.
It was great because all the kids were up front, dancing, singing, standing up all, up front. Then you had like some of the drunk millennials and people that were on their edibles and shit kind of fading toward the back and stuff. And then you had the olds, me included, like way in the back, but including the loadies. So you had the younger people who were a little too fucked up, sort of shuffling back by the merch booth, sort of like, I don't want to be involved in all that shit on the floor.
Yeah.
I was like, God, what a perfect mix of people they had.
Yeah. They're fucking great.
It was really good. I know this has become a Lawrence podcast,
We are,
but anyway,
yeah, absolutely.
but we're all in.
Yeah.
We're all in on Lawrence. All right, let's move on to another piece of news. The first grants from the Fire 8 LA are rolling out, which is great. And it looks like they've raised it. Remember, we were asking, I wonder how much they've raised.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like they've raised over $100 million.
Wow.
That's good, real money.
Yeah.
That's
Do
going
something
to
with that.
actually help things. When I saw people giving ooh, we've raised $20,000. It's like, that's a fence, dude. That's a fence.
Yeah.
In Altadena. Like, I mean, it's good. Yes, it's good. But like, especially in California, you need to get into the hundreds of millions to make this goddamn thing work. So the first grants are rolling out, and that's very good.
Excellent.
All right, one more thing. Did you watch the Oscars?
I did not.
No.
I've been catching clips. I was preparing for other things.
I don't care. I didn't watch any of the movies, but I did watch the Oscars, kind of accidentally, actually.
Yeah.
And I do like to watch for songs, and there was an original song in this one.
Oh.
There was a whole thing that James was writing about that. There's a whole problem with that.
Oh.
There was original song, but there was one of the ones was like composition. Anyway, that's not my point. My point was, it was actually kind of entertaining show for someone who had not seen any of the movies.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any of them. But Conan killed it. Amy Poehler did a great job. There were a few people that did a good job. But here's what I want to say. The In Memoriam was accompanied by Lacrimosa Requiem by Mozart.
Yeah.
With the full choir.
Ah.
Holy shit, dude. Every one of them needs to be this now. I'm on a journey for every award show for their In Memoriam, always using the Lacrimosa with a full choir. I passed the Kleenex. TD said he'll be under the bed. It just slayed me. It is so, God, what a perfect composition to use for that.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that is, go look it up. Mozart in the Requiem, Lacrimosa. There's a whole long story about Mozart writing his own death song, and that's what this is. But it is, oh my God, it's such a great piece of music.
Yeah.
Hundreds of years later, just still moved me.
Yeah.
But you didn't see it.
I did
so
not.
Good point.
I did not. I've caught a couple. I was, again, like for the last 36 hours, I've been, probably 48 hours, I've been in another place. But it's, I've seen.
Working.
Oh, I was working.
I was in the studio doing music shit.
I've seen some of the clips. By the way, Sandler going, Chalamet is one of my favorite things I've ever seen in my life.
It's a crossover from the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
So Nikki Glaser wrote that joke.
She did?
That Timothy Chalamet, it sounds like something Sandler would say, Chalamet. And then she called out to Sandler at the Golden Globes, and Sandler was like, and she goes right at him, give me a Chalamet. And he goes, a Chalamet. And so it's a crossover.
Oh my God, I love it.
And that is one of the best jokes of the year.
Yeah. And, there's something I was talking about Sandler the other day because I was like, I don't always, I love his movies. They're not fucking brilliant. No, I'm going to give all of them a pass because I fucking love him.
Little Nicky?
I'm going to give him a pass. I fucking love Adam Sandler.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going because, also Ozzy.
Respect level diving.
I don't care. This is I'm stand on this. Sandler is a fucking king, and I stand by it. The energy he puts in, he makes the shit he wants to make. He's just doing things because he wants to. right?
I agree.
And I love that. You've heard that. I heard the story. He was being interviewed by Brad Pitt at like an actors on actors thing, where he said there was this professor in college when he was going to, I don't remember what college, who basically took him out for a beer after class one day and said, if you have, it was an acting school thing, and he took him out, this professor took him out for a beer and said, if you have anything else you can do, you should do it. You are not cut out for this. Right? And so Sandler, 20 years later, sees the guy at a bar, sees this guy with a bunch of his friends, and he goes over and says hi to the professor. And this is a perfect opportunity to go, look at me now, motherfucker. But he did not. He said to his friend, hey, this is Professor, what? I don't remember the guy's name. He's like, he's the only professor who ever took me out for a beer.
Find the positive.
And so like I am like much like Lawrence, I'm a Sandler stan now. So I mean, it's just anyway. So anytime he pops up now, all of this beautiful positive energy around this man, I'm here for it. I love it. And I heard also on the Academy Awards that Nick Offerman was the announcer for the evening.
Brilliant job, by the way. And I cannot explain to you how many foreign names he had to do.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and did an amazing job at
that. I've seen some of the clips, and it's so fucking. I love him as well.
Yeah, his beard is stellar right now. By the way,
glorious, and everything he's in, I've just enjoyed. Even as the president in what was the Alex Garland movie that just came out.
He
was great in that.
He was good in that.
Anyway,
and then the Scotch Christmas thing.
There was one where they painted him like bronze, like a statue, and every now and then he just take a sip of his scotch, just sitting there in a chair.
So good with a fire.
Anyway, shout out to Nick Offerman, brilliant as always.
Anyway, so there you go. The Oscars all wrapped up. From now on, in memoriams, the Lacrimosa will be used with a full choir.
Did you ever hear the story that Mozart didn't actually finish his Requiem? That one of his students is the one who finished it, and there was a rumor that that student was
he died, right?
What's that?
He died, right?
Something. Yes, I would imagine it was a few hundred years ago. He was alive. I'm just kidding.
I think from 1791, I think he might be dead.
There was a rumor that the student and Mozart's lady of the manor were in flagrante.
Yes, there is a story that so it's Franz Susemayer.
Thank you very much.
He's a student of Mozart's. He completed the Lacrimosa section of Mozart's Requiem. Yep. It's by the way, it's in D minor. But anyway, his version has his own orchestration and signature pieces of the Requiem in it. Mm-hmm. So the Requiem has, if I remember right, Sanctus Benedictus, something with Day. Something Amos. Hold on, let me look. Agnes Day. But he wrote it in his own hand apparently. But like I still think I don't know. I don't know if this is like the actual version that I still think it's Mozart's version that we hear a lot. But I don't really care. I still love the version.
Yep, I think it's gorgeous. But it's definitely.
It makes me cry every time.
Well, it's also because he was such a dedicated student. It sounds like Papa Mozart.
Well, yeah.
It's a perfect.
It's actually, I will say, from a musicologist standpoint, like it is a little less flary than Mozart would have made. Yeah. Mozart would have put more notes in it. And like it is sparse.
Yeah.
In some areas, there are, very elongated note patterns in it, where Mozart probably would have put a little flourish in there, per usual.
Yeah. Look how good I am.
But it's just the transitions are just they kill me.
Makes me want to watch Amadeus
especially
again.
When the choir comes in.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Turn On, baby. Oh
yeah.
All right, so Stu and I listened to 2 songs this week, one new, one old, and we want you to listen to them, and we're going to tell you why. Mm-hmm. The first one I'm going to bring up here, this is from a band called Meerkat.
Yes.
And this is a song called Meerkats and Nuns. All right, totally confusing. That would be like a song from Soundgarden, and the song is called Soundgarden and Shovels.
And Spoons.
So, like, yeah, and Spoon. Yeah. But anyway, the band is Meerkat with a K. The song title is Meerkats and Nuns. This band, I love this band. I caught them last year around Halloween. They had a song that was called Deadly Love that I really dug, but I kind of didn't get into them.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what was going on there. But they've only been together for about a year. They've released 10 singles. They started February of last year.
Wow.
It's hard to find out who the fuck they are because they don't have a website. They have a Patreon, they have Instagram,
Yeah.
Very much a kids band. They don't give a fuck about the rest of it. It's hard to get the bio stuff out of them.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they're from Lima, Peru.
Oh, wow.
Like you have to find out where their first show was to kind of put it together. And so I believe they're from at least around Lima, and that's where the show was.
Yeah.
But it's exciting stuff, and they are doing kind of cool videos along with what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I kind of dig it. And boy, do they have like a very standard bio where it's crashing onto the scene with a raw, untamed energy that bleeds rock and roll. I mean, it kind of sounds like, the drummer holds the backbeat, that kind of biography. But Meerkat delivers the kind of music that sticks with you, loud, unapologetic, and impossible to ignore. I don't agree with the bio. I think they're actually a little bit more artsy than it puts it.
Yeah.
But they're going for that. Anyway, Meerkats and Nuns, there's something to this band, and that's why I'm bringing them up.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some shit coming out from them that is much bigger.
Yeah.
And so I dig it. It's fronted by a gal that has a pretty cool voice.
Yeah.
And so I really dig it.
Yeah, I really liked I like that it kind of starts out with some typical rock and roll fare, big riffs, big drums. The bridge was really cool with the repetitive hook and everything like that.
Yeah.
I really liked how that worked. And I like the chorus, and I like the interjections in between the first verse, there's an external monologue and an internal monologue going on at the same time. Took a couple listens to really get everything.
It should be noted, it's all in English.
Yeah, all in English,
just so everybody knows, and very good
English,
so.
very much like you wouldn't know. There's a couple of vowels here and there. That kind of give away that they may not be from the United States of America.
Yeah.
From north of the Gulf of America, and
Stu.
I just pulled the pin and threw it right in there. No, I really dug it. I really dug the production. I like when people fuck with drums. That's like one of my favorite things, because a lot of things are like the drums are just one thing. When you hit the end of that song, the drum filter and it gets smashed, and all of a sudden it's super verbed out. It's like, I love when people play with production like that. There's some really cool shit going on here. I kind of want them to go a little further into the artsy paint a little bit. That's personally,
I do too.
Because it's a good song, but there's a little bit of a System of a Down thing going on sometimes. There's a little bit of like how kind of Serge delivers, certain lines. It reminded me kind of like that. But I really dig the vibe. The chorus got a big fucking sweaty hook on it. It's cool.
And there's some muse to them.
Oh, yeah.
So if you listen to Deadly Love, it's much more artsy. And that's kind of what I thought they were kind of, it's dark, it's very kind of gothic kind of way. But this is why I'm bringing them up, is that I heard something in this song that, like, for their 10th single, for being a band that's been together for a year, there's some really interesting choices in this song.
Yeah.
Writing and recording wise, producing wise. And so I'm kind of excited to see where they're going to go.
Nice.
It's interesting to see a band this early in their process coming up with like some shit that I'm like, oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's surprising.
Yeah.
And so, that's why it's not just straight ahead shit.
Yeah.
And so I dig it. So there you go. Meerkat. Meerkats and Nuns. Check out that new song.
Yep.
All right. Let's get to the old song.
It ain't that old.
We got to slide back to 2006, everybody. The cough was real. Anyway, the old song, we're going to do this. Angels and Airwaves.
Oh, man.
The Adventure.
Yes.
Do you remember when you first heard this song?
I do not remember because this was I came to Angels and Airways.
I mean,
later.
you were in high school.
I was not in high school, but thank you. I was well on the road at this point in time. And so like I came to this band later because it was like, oh, Tom DeLonge has a side project.
Yeah,
that was basically how we all kind of found it.
Just a little, little
side project, and fucking catchy, well produced. Hooky as fuck. You go to your old song. You take it. Run.
Which, by the way, was like a year maybe, or maybe in the same year that Blink-182 broke up.
Yeah.
Like, it was super quick.
Yeah.
I loved this song when it came out because I thought this was the best Blink-182 song I've heard since, Where Are You? Anyway, but like, I really, that song kills me.
I do not like that
song. I know. We'll have Halloween for Christmas. Okay, anyway, 2006, it was a side project, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is that this is a little side project that Tom DeLonge did, wrapping his alien shit into it, and all the crap that he was doing with that. Angels and Airwaves, actually, there's another To the Stars thing that he did that popped out of this. But I want you to hear this, because now that we have almost 20 years since, 20 years since... By the way, Blink-182 is back together and playing, the big festivals and doing big things and all that. And Mark is cured, he's out of his cancer stuff. Like, there's a bunch of shit that's gone on in the last 19 years, let's say. But this side project has produced 6 studio albums, a documentary, a sci-fi short, which went to theaters, 482 fucking screens this went to. There are a lot of independent movies that don't get to that. An animated short, which won the best animation at the Toronto Film Festival in 2014. Then comic books, a graphic novel. And I know that it's kind of problematic, but the song is a banger.
Why is it problematic?
Well, okay. There's a lot of, like, if you're a Blink-182 fan, you got to hate Angels and Airwaves.
Huh.
You know what? It's like, that's what I've understood from a lot of Blink-182. Like, it was him breaking up the band.
Oh.
And he was using these other musicians to really forward his alien shit. And it was more about like the artistic stuff. And there's a lot of like drug stuff that happened, things that happened with the other. Like, if you look at the members of the band, some shit happened even before their first show. There was a guy who was like kicked out that night. Tom DeLonge apparently a little bit hard to work with in some of these cases. But I remember when I heard this song, and I was doing licensing by this point. I remember when I heard this song, I was like, that's going to be a graduation song.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be something that, like, if you're 17 or 18, you're like, here I am, and here we go.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a really cool summer song. Anyway, I like it. It's nice to point out a few of these songs. The album did for shit. I think it sold 120,000 copies.
Yeah.
But if you look on YouTube, it's got 40 million hits on it. It does pretty well in streaming. This is kind of a certified banger, and so it's worth you taking another listen to it. Because there's some really good production choices on it. So it's not like this is the best. No, look, not all of them have to be classic best ever songs. But that's why we're bringing this up. This may have been one you missed. May have been one you didn't catch a while ago. It's probably not on your playlist, and that's why I'm bringing it up.
It had been a while since we heard the dotted 8 delay trick, in 2006 hit. Meanwhile,
I also love the Anvil hit.
Oh yeah. It's like the Mahler hammer.
It's not an anvil, you guys, but it sounds like an anvil hit. And it's a kind of a cool thing to establish we're working on something. And this is, it's... But anyway, I just find it amazing. I didn't know this, so that's why I thought I'd bring it up, is that little side band project has 6 fucking studio albums and all of these other things. And you will forever just think of Tom DeLonge as part of Blink-182 and also that weird alien guy.
Yeah, he does have a significant amount of financial skin in the Search for Aliens game.
Look, he puts his money and his time into the shit he cares about. Love him or hate him or think it's weird. he's doing exactly what he wants to. He's not playing the celebrity game. You know, he's working on shit. And so anyway, I just thought it was really interesting. Angels and Airwaves, The Adventure. There you go.
That's an excellent choice and an excellent song. Absolutely slaps.
Let's move right on to the Sink of the Week. All right, here we go. Stu, it's time for the Sink of the Week. What you got on your phone there to tell me?
How'd you know? No, I finally got a chance to watch Venom: The Last Dance.
Ooh.
And I'm an unapologetic Tom Hardy fan. I liked it. This is fun.
Everyone knows that about you.
Yeah, I mean, I've got shirts with his face on it. I enjoy him in just about everything he's in. And the Venom films are, while, Sony Pictures versions of Marvel things, it's still entertaining, right? It is a very entertaining.
Yeah.
The last one's a very entertaining film.
Is this 3?
This is the third
2?
one. Yes.
Okay, 3.
And the only thing that frustrates me is there were a couple of characters that were teased in the last one that did not show up in this third one, which is very frustrating. But it's still fun to watch Tom Hardy play with the multiple personality kind of thing, with Venom in his head.
Yeah.
And there's some lovely, it's definitely played for comedy moments. It's very silly. Do not go into this thinking you're watching Daredevil Reborn. You are not watching a serious thing. You are watching a big, dumb cave person, Fast and Furious type Marvel thing. But they do a lovely, lovely drop of Don't Stop Me Now by Queen in it. And it's very, very entertaining. And, like the back and forth between, Venom and Eddie Brock is just a very, very entertaining thing. And I always love this kind of, it's a Sony Pictures, well, it's a Columbia film. Sony Pictures, really the big conglomerate on the top of the whole thing. And Spring Asper's the supervisor and also the president of Sony Pictures Music Group. And so then you kind of go down the rabbit hole and see, oh yeah, they're collecting all of the money on these ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of those
rights. They got a lot of those
in-house
rights already. And, know that you're probably not going to, be sliding into them DMs of the president of Sony Pictures Music Group with your, unless you're part of that group. Anyway.
Yeah, don't send a cold email to Spring.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a lot of songs. You think you could use any of these 100 songs I sent you?
They're all over here.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, we also have a lot of songs. Were any of your songs number one hits?
Yes.
No.
I'm sorry. Did you weren't asking me? I'm sorry. I was.
Oh no, I know
number
about
one hit
you
in my
and your
house.
songs. Here's what I love about what just happened there. Somebody just won $50 because they had on their bingo card, Stu's going to pick another fucking Queen song.
Yep.
I don't know how many Queen songs you've picked over the course of this podcast, but it's more than others. We know that.
Okay.
I mean, just in this season, there's the Prophet song.
Yeah, but that wasn't a Sink of the Week.
Don't Stop Me Now.
That was an old song.
I understand. It's still a Queen song.
Yes.
Hey, if it works, it works.
It's, there's a reason. I fired up the record
Stick
player.
around till next week. We might get Fat Bottom Girls.
You will not get Fat Bottom Girls, and fuck you for suggesting such a thing.
Oh, wait, you're going to pick I'm in love with my car?
Absolutely.
The fuck
Lazing on a Sunday afternoon. I just fired up the record player this week in the new house, and I put on Are You Experienced? Which, if you've not heard it in a while on vinyl, the stereo spread on that fucking record is amazing. And then, of course, I put on A Night at the Opera because it's a good way to calibrate everything because I have that pitch just locked in my brain. I'm like, oh, it's running a little sharp. I'm going to go ahead and just pitch this, slow things down a little bit. Anyway.
All right, there you
Queen
go.
Song.
Go see Venom. Last Dance. Hey, where do we see Venom?
You can see it on Netflix right now.
Oh, the Netflixies. I'm over on Netflix as well. Thank you for that one. I'm watching a really stupid show, but it's fun. It is a new show called Running Point with Kate Hudson. And big, glossy, TV-oriented kind of show on Netflix. And it is basically the story of the Lakers. They don't use the Lakers. They call them the Los Angeles Waves. Jeannie Buss and I forget her name, but the Rambus kid are also executive producers on this. This is absolutely an LA Lakers like basically story of like the young daughter who doesn't get a shot at running the team while everyone, and by the way, the Lakers are basketball if you don't understand all this stuff. It's a basketball team. Anyway, so it's great to see Kate Hudson again. Just full stop. It's great to see Kate Hudson in doing her Kate Hudson things. And she's like, a rich billionaire, so she gets to wear pretty cool fucking clothes and leather pants. And, it's really kind of fun stuff. Ike Barinholtz is one of the creators of this. He's sneaky. That dude's fucking sneaky in Hollywood right now. He's in a bunch of writing, executive producing stuff. And so, anyway, is it great? No. But it's kind of fun. If you're in, you just throw on something. It's kind of fun. But season 1, episode 5. I'm on about episode 5, and this is where I stopped right now. But the song, there's tons of needle drops. This is very much a show to like highlight a lot of new like sort of hip hop and stuff that like you could look at the soundtrack for this and not know one of the names. Like if you're of a certain age, you'd be like, I have no fucking idea who any of those people are. But they're cool songs, and they said L.A. It's all very sunny and L.A. and rich and fun. Anyway, one of the songs, and this is why I picked it. One of the songs is called "Get in a Hurry." And it's from Eugene Blacknell and the New Breed. Now, this song is from 1973. It is funky ass shit. I love this song. But here's what's so cool and what makes a supervisor's job fun. This song was used in the HBO Max show. It was used in the Winning Time show for the Lakers to set the 70s, basically. It was also used in Minx.
Excellent.
A show that we've mentioned on this a few times. So, and to set the 70s, to set that scene. It was also used in The Hunters.
The Al Pacino thing?
Do you remember that show?
I love that show.
On Prime, So, I want to point this out to you. When a song works in something, it can be used all over the goddamn place. And supervisors do that as like sort of a nod to previous supervisors. Like this is a perfect like tone setting things. This is why you always hear CCR. If someone is in 1972,
there's a Huey.
You'll hear Fortunate Son or something like that. It doesn't matter whether they're in Vietnam or not. You're like, okay, I know where we are. We're in 72 to 74 CCRs on the radio. But this is one of those songs. It's just got a great vibe to it. It's called "Get in a Hurry." Eugene Blacknell and the New Breed, and the Soup, Brienne Rose.
Fun.
She's done a bunch of shit, and we love her. So it's kind of a fun sync because it also the Winning Time thing from the HBO and the Lakers. It's kind of cool. I just dig. I dig that she did this in the midst of all of these other like brand new kind of hip hop songs.
We watched a couple episodes of that too because it looks like a dumb thing you put on the side. And I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, it's Ted Lasso for Americans. Because I mean it's pretty much, new head coach comes in, blah, it's not a coach, but you know what I mean? And it's like and we've got them and we're bringing this new guy over here. It's it's entertaining, and you're right, Kate Hudson gets to make some fabulous fashion choices. So, it's entertaining. I enjoy it. But Mindy Kaling and Ike Barinholtz. It's fun.
It's not going to change the world, but it's fun.
No. I remember thinking the same thing about Nobody Wants This, the Kristen Bell thing. Like there was a lot of songs a fuckload of needle drops in that half-hour comedy too, right? And going down the rabbit hole, it's like I've never heard this song. I've heard this Olivia Rodrigo song. I've never heard this song. And finding a whole bunch of new shit that I didn't know I liked. Right. And so I like every time the song.
I mean, they got some cool cool drops where you're like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
There's a Tupac.
Yeah.
California.
Yeah.
There's a few of those things to kind of get you into this. But for our younger listeners, you'll probably know who some of these people are. but let me give you just a few from like just the first few episodes.
Yeah.
Omega Watts.
Oh yeah.
Kasoma featuring Redwood. Michael Now. How about E. Litty and the Mondays? How about Bobby Orosa?
Oh yeah.
Ortiz. Jack Hendricks, Chickabombs. Nate Husser. Like, I have no idea who any of these people are.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, no idea. You get down to one where you're like, oh, Black Caviar, I know who that is, featuring Unique.
Yeah.
Great, that's cool. That's actually in the episode that I'm mentioning. Yeah. But Holy Hive, and then you start getting into like such Gen Z shit where you're like, okay, I don't know how to pronounce this.
There are no
but
vowels.
It's DIJAHSB capitalized with an X and an emoji.
Is that Elon Musk's newest child?
I think that's Elon's new kid. Yeah, and they just put out a new album, and that's cool.
New album, all right.
Which is right next to Pigeon John, of course.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Why wouldn't they be? So yeah, it's kind of fun. Anyway, it's an interesting show.
Yeah.
If you got nothing to do, there you go.
Yeah. Nicely done. Well done.
All right, let's move on to a little last call. Everybody, wrap this bitch up. You got anybody to last call? I don't care.
I do, and give me a second here, and I will tell you who it is.
Don't you dare mention someone that died.
I was gonna. I'd like to shout out Dolly Parton.
Oh, okay. That's okay. For the husband?
Yeah. Her husband, Carl Dean.
Okay. Like 4 people just went, holy shit, Dolly Parton died?
No. Dolly Parton, her husband, Carl Dean. He was 82. They were together 60 fucking years. Yeah.
Carl Dean got his Jolene.
Yeah, he did. And I mean, you have seen photos of Dolly when she released that song. It's like, holy shit, Dolly looked like that. What the fuck was Jolene looking like? Anyway, shout out to Dolly. So we send you love and hugs.
Some love to Dolly.
Yeah. Anyway.
That sucks. I mean, but also, what a good run.
Yeah, 60 fucking years together. Beautiful. Maybe I'll be so lucky.
Yes. May you all find your person. That's it.
That's it. Well done,
everybody.
Way to bring it down, Stubert. All right.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, I'm going to wrap this sucker up. Hey, if you want to send us some questions, jokes, or comments, you can do that. 2ShotsMusicPod@gmail.com, or you can go on any of the social sites at 2ShotsMusicPod. That's where you would do that, and we'll shout you out. And remember to subscribe, give us a little love, and hit that bell on YouTube. It really does help the channel. I always fucking hate saying that. God, Kelsey, where are you?
Where are
Kelsey.
you?
Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I love that song.
I do not, but we'll talk about that another time. No, stop it.
Really?
No, it's that song is not it. That song is.
Spiders. Okay. No. Okay.
No.
All right. Thank you, Blink-182, for taking us out. Where are you? All right.
Bye.
Love you guys.
Bye. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye.